At the highest point of the Urugano mountain range, a dangerous area also known as Mount Lang's Son of Death, a hand was desperately gripping the cliff to climb. Kai jumped up to the top with his large backpack that looked like he was carrying the whole world on his back. He glanced back to observe. Kai stood up straight, looking straight ahead with a dignified manner. They say there's an exploration path here, it seems I need to follow the traces of the beasts. His eyes suddenly became tense, wary of the dangers lurking around him. He took slow steps in the dim forest night. I can't see everything clearly around me, and the ground is also unstable. Even though I'm in a hurry, I must be cautious. Kai glared ahead. In his heart, a feeling of anxiety suddenly flashed. I can sense another existence, although it's not clear. This might be the wolf monster rumored to be on Mount Lang's Son of Death. He walked slowly through the silent night forest. While walking, he was lost in chaotic thoughts. Although it was a silent night, his heart was like surging waves. 2 is not 3, they are rapidly increasing in numbers. Although they are currently hiding, I feel a lot of pressure. Suddenly, a wolf appeared from nowhere and howled a long, wild cry, adding to the savagery of the dark night. Soon after, a pack of wolves with sharp white fangs came rushing out of nowhere, intending to attack Kai. As soon as a wolf lunged at Kai, he quickly jumped up, fortunately escaping the ferocious wolf. In less than 3 seconds, he leaped onto a tree branch. From above, he looked down intently, and in an instant, Kai had managed to recognize them as the infamous demonic beasts of the Lang Sun Death Mountain. Many people had gone missing when they came to this mountain, so it seemed this was the reason. Suddenly, his eyes widened and turned a bright red, the ability to assess. The pack of wolves still wouldn't let Kai go, forming a group and continuously barking loudly under the tree. The system board appeared, announcing, race, werewolf age 20, gender male attack D defense D agility B strength B magic D status normal, cooperation skill level 3. A wolf jumped off the ground. It rammed its head hard into the large tree trunk, causing it to break in an instant. Kai tried to keep his balance, the leaves of the tree falling down on the ground. TSK. Kai used 2 fingers to catch a small leaf, his face looking cool as a gourd, absolutely cinematic. He channeled energy through the small leaf, and the light emitted lit up the entire dark night, enhancing the leaf with mana. Then Kai immediately launched the leaf, aiming straight at the wolf bearing its fangs like it was starving at his feet. The power of that leaf was truly extraordinary. The leaf, in less than 3 seconds, severed the wolf's head, causing blood to spurt everywhere. As soon as he defeated the wolf, Kai landed on the ground, his whole body emitting a powerful light of strength. Before he had taken 3 steps, 2 more wolves rushed in, intending to attack him. Kai swung his arm and punched the wolf directly in the mouth, causing strawberry syrup to spew out. Another one bared its fangs and charged to attack continuously. Kai just stood still and used his power to control, causing the 2 wolves to collide with each other and lie motionless. In the dark night, his whole body was glowing, 2 wolves lying still on the ground, blood flowing from their mouths. But a moment later, 6 more wolves appeared in front of Kai. They looked very fierce, intending to rush up and fight him. Kai looked down at his glowing hand, thinking, enhancing the body with mana. If I do this consciously, the effect is really great. Suddenly, he remembered that Leonora had said, "We always rely on our bodyguards, so our ability to control mana energy is very weak." Every word Leonora said was etched in his mind. You are people who always rely on bodyguards, not used to controlling your own mana. In a sense, you are nothing but weaklings. That's why we can easily control you. Kai remembered the chaotic scene, so at that time we couldn't resist Leonora's enslavement magic. The command was given, and the girls immediately stopped, not allowed to move. I must become stronger to overcome this weakness. Suddenly, while he wasn't paying attention, a wolf ran past. If I can improve my mana control ability, I can use mana to freely enhance my body and also increase my resistance to enemy magic. Kai immediately drew out the gleaming knife. Although it's not as strong as the bodyguards, I need to be stronger in this world. I must learn this skill. He pointed the knife blade towards the large wolf and asked, "Are you the alpha?" The wolves behind stood waiting for orders. The alpha wolf opened its mouth wide and roared directly at Kai's face. Its eyes were blood red and glaring, looking very scary. Kai used a knife thrust aimed straight at the wolf's neck. Blood dripped and fell to the ground. His eyes suddenly glanced behind him. Seeing the back was completely empty, only the corpses of the dead ones remained. Kai thought, as soon as the alpha dies, all of them will run away. After all, the alpha is the strongest. He gently took paper to wipe the bloodstains off the blade, a useful lesson. Suddenly, as Kai ran on, the wolves from behind also ran after him. Hearing the strange sounds, Kai looked back in confusion, asking himself, what? From their movements, I see something very strange. It seemed he could feel another wolf spirit emanating from the wolves that were running. Just as they were about to pounce on Kai, he quickly drew his knife to defend. He was predicting their movement trajectories. The spirit gradually merged back into the wolf's body, and they were gradually becoming one. A moment later, that red spirit completely merged into the wolf, even radiating a stronger type of power. When the wolf roared, intending to attack, Kai quickly retreated backward. He stabbed powerfully into the middle of the wolf's mouth, stabbed. From the red wolf spirit, it gradually emerged from the normal wolf. Kai stabbed another time along the wolf's body, causing blood to splatter everywhere. After stabbing, Kai stood solemnly, holding the blade firmly. No problem, I can foresee what will happen in the future for about a second. The other wolves saw that. Their faces looked gloomy and sad like steamed buns in the afternoon. Kai raised the gleaming blade and threatened, "You won't get away." From his body emanated a special white aura, with blood-red eyes, approaching closer, looking very scary. "Let's participate in practice together a little more." In the silent night, there were only the footsteps of a young man and the corpses of the wolves scattered around. The smell of fresh blood was incredibly pungent. Suddenly, Kai's face lit up, radiating red rays. He stared intently at his hand. The system board appeared, displaying the name Shinju Kai, age 20, gender male, attack A defense big agility A strength B magic C status, normal bodyguard skills, assessment ability level 3, bodyguard weakness detection level 1, bodyguard foresight level 1, assassination technique level 5, dagger technique level 5, throwing technique level 5, stealth level 5. In his mind, he thought, so this is the skill that allows me to see the future. Kai walked while thinking. When I received weakness detection, my assessment ability also increased fundamentally. It's an upgrade of the normal assessment ability. This is a skill that allows me to see everything through foresight. After walking for a while, he was also tired, panting, sweat running down his face. The sentence was left unfinished. Kai had to stop and rest for a while. As expected, he was quite exhausted. He was probably about to climb to the top of the mountain. Perhaps he should rest here for a bit. But he hadn't rested for long when a strange noise suddenly came from afar, which caught Kai's attention. A hint of worry appeared on Kai's face. Don't tell me the devil's army was coming. He decided to pick up his backpack and continue on. After all, this wasn't the right time to rest. Near the top of the deadly Lang Sun mountain, there were many people gathered here. A green-haired guy with a tall, muscular, dirty build stood with his arms crossed and asked, "You've got guts." This little elf girl, as expected, is a disciple of Sage. Mare stood aside, glaring with fury and deep hatred. Suddenly, she stared straight ahead, a few drops of sweat trickling down her face, her lips pressed tightly together as she heard him say, "But it will all end here." The green-haired guy raised his hand in front and shouted, and as soon as the order was given, a crowd of people swarmed forward to kill her. A group of people stood around directly facing Mare, but it would all end here. Mare's face was contorted in pain. She used one hand to cover the bleeding wound on her other arm. "If I'm killed here." A blue-haired, beer-bellied guy didn't let her finish her sentence, suddenly burst out laughing, and raised his sword to slash at her. Mare closed her eyes in fear. Blood spurted out and splattered everywhere on the ground. But fortunately, Kai arrived in time and carried her away, narrowly escaping the blade. Mare looked at Kai blankly and exclaimed, "Hey." Inside, she was silently speculating, "Human." The green-haired guy wondered, "Another enemy." The blue-haired, beer-bellied guy angrily shouted, "Who are you?" Kai just stood silently, looking with an expression of annoyance and contempt. He looked around and roughly counted. There are about 10 soldiers here, and the leader is a high-ranking demon. Mare asked, confused, "Why are you helping me?" Kai didn't answer, just waved his hand to prevent her from continuing. He asked coldly, "Are you a disciple of Sage Ilbana?" Mare hesitantly replied, "Yes, that's right." Kai continued, "Then that's my reason, I need to meet Sage." His eyes glanced to the side. Kai looked at Mare for a long time to determine what she was. He had used his deduction ability and determined that she belonged to the half-elf race. Furthermore, her information sheet also listed magic skills. The green-haired guy quickly and angrily said, "I don't care who you are, you definitely belong to the enemy's side." He raised his hand in front and ordered the crowd to attack, "But it doesn't matter, kill both of them." So this was Kai's real purpose, to save her and make Sage owe him a favor. In his heart, he silently determined that he had to defeat these demons. A foot sprung up from the ground. The demons attacked from 3 different directions, from above and then to both sides. They attacked simultaneously, which surprised Kai a bit. His eyes turned red, as if activating some function, distant vision. The blue-haired one swung his weapon down with a slash, but fortunately, Kai managed to dodge to the side. Another sharp weapon suddenly attacked him. He lightly dodged his head to the side. From behind, another one rushed in to ambush him unexpectedly. Just as the green-haired one was about to attack, Kai managed to grab his arm. Seeing that, all three demons were very surprised and stared with their mouths open. In just a few seconds, Kai stood up and slashed countless times, even uttering a criticism, "Your weapon is really big, isn't it a bit too much to use against humans?" All three demons were cut in half by him, and blood splattered everywhere. The purple demon, not believing his eyes, screamed, "What?" Power still emanated from Kai's eyes. He glared intently ahead, thinking to himself, "As long as the distant vision still works in close combat, I won't lose. The problem is how long I can use the skill. How many minutes do I have left?" The green-haired one was annoyed. His face was furious. He ordered, "Don't just charge in recklessly like that. Use magic to take him down." The two demons immediately replied, "Understood." They created a magic circle together. Then they released countless streams of dark purple magical projectiles. Only now did Kai truly feel incredibly panicked. So this is magic. Suddenly, from behind, Mare spoke softly, "Spirits of the wind, blow away the enemy." A large green gust of wind both protected the two of them and blew away those dark purple energy balls. That gust of wind, like a powerful whirlwind, destroyed all the magical energy that came near. Kai still hadn't come to his senses. His eyes widened in shock. He asked, "Was that a spell just now?" In his heart, he thought, "So that's a power used by borrowing the power of spirits, a power only for elves." Mare smiled brightly, her eyes shining, and replied, "Yes, thanks to you, the spirits can rest a little." The blue-haired demon at the front clicked his tongue and then grabbed his weapon, ready to charge. "TCH, at this rate, we're not going anywhere. It's time for me to jump in." Kai thought to himself, "The final boss is here." He called out, "Hey, you demon." Mare asked, "What did you say?" Kai said, "You stop those lackeys, don't let them bother me." He then said in a cold voice. In front of him was a ferocious demon, brutal and treating human lives as grass. "I'm going to kill the leader," he said. A hint of annoyance flickered across Mare's face. "I can do that, but at least don't call me that, okay? My name is Mare." Kai put his backpack on the ground, preparing for the fierce battle. He replied, "I understand, I'm counting on you, disciple of the sage." As soon as the words left his mouth, he immediately charged forward without hesitation. Mare angrily yelled, "I already told you my name is Mare. Oh, forget it." A white light suddenly flashed in the dark night. But as he charged forward and got close, Kai hesitated slightly. This guy. His foot stomped hard on the demon's sword, and landed on the ground, firmly holding his weapon, ready to fight. The demon thrust his sword upwards. Kai launched a direct attack, using his knife to repeatedly stab the demon's body, creating a tense and dramatic moment amidst the fierce battle. The blue-haired demon roared. While Kai gritted his teeth, trying to endure, the demon frowned and said, "I didn't expect you to be able to predict my moves." But as he said that, Kai noticed the wound on his body and paused for a few seconds. "That wound is quite deep, isn't it?" Finally, he didn't care at all and swung his knife, intending to stab the demon once. His eyes became sharp. The demon became stronger and angrier. Kai cursed under his breath, "Damn it." Sweat poured down Kai's face like a shower. Only now did he realize that this was the power of a high-level demon. If it weren't for the foresight, he would have been dead. The blue-haired demon raised his hand to his chin, and said seriously with a tone of contempt, sarcastic, "Good, but if you weren't human, you could have beaten me." Kai stood still for a few seconds, his eyes still glaring angrily in front. A knife stabbed down, and blood spurted out. He stepped back to avoid it. Since when the wounds on his body started bleeding a lot, the system panel displayed the information: name, Hector Einsweiss, age, 25, race, high-level demon, gender, male, attack, B, defense, B, agility, B, strength, B, magic, B, status, normal, skills, dominating magic level 1, swordsmanship level 5. Kai thought, besides the physical abilities and sharp senses of a high-level demon, he also has level 5 swordsmanship. Even with the ability of foresight, I am still at a disadvantage in this battle. He suddenly came up with an idea. If that's the case, then let's try this. Chapter 36, Kai and the fierce blue-haired demon stood facing each other. His eyes became sharp, more determined than ever. Since when the wounds on his body started bleeding a lot, the system panel displayed the information: name, Hector Einsweiss, age, 25, race, high-level demon, gender, male, attack, B, defense, B, agility, B, strength, B, magic, B, status, normal, skills, dominating magic level 1, swordsmanship level 5. The impatient blue-haired demon couldn't wait any longer and quickly lunged forward. "If you're not coming, then I will." He was fierce with his large body, swinging his sword and charging forward, his mouth roaring with the eyes of the glutton of blood. Kai remained still, observing and using his eyes to observe the demon's next move. Then he quickly retreated to avoid his sword swing. The demon became even fiercer, relentlessly charging forward, clenching his teeth tightly. Wherever he swung his sword, Kai dodged. But unfortunately, this time the demon was lucky enough to slash a graze across his arm. Kai. He gritted his teeth, enduring the pain and clicking his tongue. TCH, he thought to himself, knowing the future is useless if my body isn't strong enough to defeat him. Right now, the physical gap is very large. The blue-haired demon smirked and asked with a contemptuous tone, "Are you always running away like this?" Suddenly, a gun was pointed directly at him. 3 bullets fired simultaneously at the demon, causing him to be extremely surprised and squinting his eyes to watch. The demon quickly raised his armored hand to block out of reflex. Kai observed and continued to shoot, thinking to himself that his reflexes were on par with the speed of bullets, but anyway. The demon was continuously shot in his arms and legs, but fortunately, he had the armor to block. The demon was so angry that he gnashed his teeth, his brow furrowing with veins popping out. What weapon is that, insolent? He could no longer restrain himself, and furiously charged directly at Kai. But he just stood still, aiming the gun at him. As the bullet got close, he leaned to the side and dodged. He said, "Don't underestimate me, I can see your attack trajectory." Even in a difficult situation, Kai remained very calm, trying to keep a cool head. "I'm out of bullets." He threw 3 blades at the demon at once. He raised his sword to block, and the impact created a loud noise. The demon looked confusedly at Kai approaching him. What was he throwing? The demon glared at a strange object falling in front of him, filled with doubt. What is this? Kai, with eyes blazing red with killing intent, looked down. Meanwhile, the green-haired demon braced himself and raised his sword to block. The strange object fell to the ground with a thud. Just under 3 seconds later, an earth-shattering explosion occurred, engulfing the demon in a sea of fire. The demons behind anxiously shouted in unison, "Commander." Just as they were about to raise their weapons to fight, one said, "Don't move." Mare quietly turned to look. For a moment, she wondered to herself, what abilities does he have? Mare looked at Kai's strong, handsome, and nonchalant appearance. He was overwhelming a high-level demon, even though he was just an ordinary person. Kai raised his blade. Kai thought to himself that he no longer had any bullets for the pistol he was holding for emergencies, and that was also the last grenade. He looked at the demon, who was trying to recover from the explosion. As expected, I can't win with just these things. He gritted his teeth, exhaled smoke, his face bulging with veins, blood vessels bursting in his eyes. You've only been using weird weapons. The demon's loud scream surprised both Kai and Mare. He leaped forward and continuously attacked Kai with sharp, swift knife attacks. Fortunately, he was able to block those attacks. At this moment, sweat was beading on his face. He thought to himself, "It seems like I need to use that skill." Kai's pupils dilated a little more, his eyes exuded a type of red demonic energy. I must analyze his movements. Indeed, he could see the demon's movements more clearly and thoroughly. Kai's eyes kept shining, this feeling of discovering a weakness. He stared at a point on the middle of the demon's neck. There was a strange glowing thing between the demon's neck. This is. He immediately rushed forward, intending to slash right there. Kai recognized and attacked directly, causing blood to splatter, his weakness in the future. The green-haired demon was still stunned, speechless. How did this happen? Kai looked down at the demon's corpse lying still on the ground. In his heart he couldn't help but admire. Long-range vision, plus weakness detection, these skills are really strong. However, a large amount of mana has also been consumed. Suddenly, his face relaxed. Kai collapsed to the ground. I'm out of mana, how terrible. The other demons told each other that the commander was dead. They saw that Kai was no longer able to fight and wanted to seize the opportunity, but that guy is now exhausted. That's right, kill him quickly. Mare saw this and couldn't help but worry. The souls were also reaching their limit. I want to help him because he saved me before. The demons shouted in anger and rushed to attack. A light shone. Burn my enemies, oh, fire salamander spirit. In an instant, a raging fire erupted, burning all the demons. One screamed violently. One rune trembled and begged for help. Save me. Kai gaped, not believing his eyes, and looked back. Compared to Nagase's flames, this firepower is on another level. Elbana appeared from behind, softly saying, "Sorry for being late." Mare's eyes lit up, smiling brightly like a flower and called, "Master." Kai glanced over. Seeing Elbana's gentle, graceful, and calm appearance, he realized it was Sage Elbana. Elbana slightly raised her head, looked down, smiled, and softly spoke, Thank you, young man, from the looks of it, you seem to be helping my disciple, right? A voice spoke from in front of the green-haired demon's corpse. Thanks, kid. Elbana calmly assessed, based on the current situation, it seems you are helping my disciple. Araji Kai replied, it's just a coincidence, you are Sage Elbana. Elbana winked, yes, but compared to before, I'm just an old skeleton now. Araji Kai thought to himself, just as predicted, my energy is too low to use my appraisal ability, but I know for sure she's very strong, with my current self, I can never defeat her, I guess hiding it is pointless. Elbana stared at him. Elbana spoke, do you have something to find me for? He frankly admitted, yes. Elbana calmly replied, of course, there's no reason for a young man to come here without a purpose, I'm grateful to you for saving my disciple, I will answer your questions as clearly as possible. Mayor whispered, Master, should we go back? The smell of blood here is too strong, the wolves will come now. Elbana turned away, you're right, Mayor, come with me, human boy, you should rest a bit too, shouldn't you? Kai pondered, yes, I understand. He looked at the two people in front, the situation is quite favorable for me right now, it's good that I accepted the danger to save her disciple anyway. They went to a house on the mountain, this is our house, nothing special, make yourself comfortable. Mayor hurriedly ran away, I'm going to take a bath. Kai looked around in confusion, why are you in such a remote place? Elbana sighed, there are many reasons, but mainly I want to live close to nature, I'm retired, but humans still sometimes want to take advantage of me. Kai suddenly understood, so it's not easy to get here. Elbana glanced at him, well, however, a few people with skills like you sometimes come here too, well, I'm not an evil person to the point of rejecting them. Elbana sat down and held a teacup, all right, I'll ask again, what do you need to find me for? Kai confessed, to be honest, I'm trying to find a way back to my former world. Elbana wondered, your world, you mean? He replied, yes, I'm a person from another world. Kai said seriously, I'm one of the hero candidates assigned to conquer the demon lord. Elbana put down the teacup, so you are the third generation of hero candidates, I've heard rumors, but I didn't expect them to have summoned them so many times. Araji Kai was surprised, the third generation. He thought to himself, Leonora did say that they had summoned hero candidates a few times before, the hero candidates had been more or less wiped out by the demon lord's army, maybe a few survived, but they all disappeared. Elbana recounted that 4 years ago they also gathered hero candidates, that was the second time, the first time was about 10 years ago. Elbana pondered, both generations came to conquer the demon lord and were wiped out, since then, the ritual of summoning hero candidates has been sealed, never to be used again. Elbana recalled, but Saintess Leonora intended to break the taboo and summon the third generation, I oppose that idea, I don't care if that's the wish of the gods or not, but entrusting the fate of the empire to a person from another world is a reckless act. Kai commented, if it were Leonora, I would have killed her, there would be no more rituals to summon people from other worlds. Elbana looked at him, how could you kill Leonora? He smiled, there are many ways to kill an ordinary person, although for the gods, the skills must be quite good, you know. Elbana chuckled, it seems you're not lying, so that woman was killed by her own pawn, should we say she deserved it? Elbana thought, I understand what you want, everyone wants to go home, I don't like to talk too much, let me just say it. Elbana bluntly, I can't take you back to your world with a spell. Kai sighed, so that's how it is. He wondered, but do you have any suggestions? Elbana explained, summoning with magic is possible, but taking them back is not, that knowledge is gone now, anyway, there's no reason to study it. Kai said, Leonora said the same thing, in short, do we have no other choice but to defeat the demon lord? Elbana went to the bookshelf, maybe, or with the help of magic, it might be possible to some extent. Kai mumbled, magic, perhaps I'll investigate further. Elbana felt bad, I'm sorry I can't help you, I still owe you for saving my disciple, I'll let you know if I find anything, he replied, thank you. Elbana sparkled with hope, but if it's you, you might be able to kill the demon lord. Kai sighed, I don't want to get involved in such a troublesome matter. He was determined, anyway, if there's no other way, then maybe I'll have to kill the demon lord. Elbana glanced at him, this boy. Elbana assessed that he was really different from the other hero candidates, as if he grew up in a dark and cold place. Araji Kai stood up and thanked her for the information, Sage, if you find anything, please contact Siren from the Adventurers Guild. Elbana thought to herself, maybe I can trust this boy. The door suddenly opened, Mare wrapped in a towel smiled happily, so comfortable. Mare wondered, why don't you take a bath, aren't you dirty after climbing the mountain and fighting? Kai replied, yes, you're right, if so, I'll take a bath. Elbana spoke, hey boy, I have a suggestion. Kai looked at Elbana, what is it? Elbana suggested to the surprise of the two people, how about you take my disciple with you? Mare was surprised and pointed at herself, you mean me? Elbana smiled kindly, if not you, then who? You are the only disciple I have. After thinking about your goal, I've made this offer. Mare turned to Kai, flustered. He helplessly held his head, I refuse, I don't need a noisy girl tagging along. In the eastern region of the demon kingdom of Veldora, the front lines of the holy nation of Diagrest. The sky was clear blue, encompassing a vast area. Kai marveled, the weather is nice, I've heard the weather in the demon territory is quite harsh. Mare spoke, just recently, this was still territory of the holy nation, the weather in Veldora's kingdom must be even harsher. Kai muttered, the demon lord's army's invasion, Mare explained, around the west of the Urugano mountains, there's a large city called Nutrat, there used to be villages around it, but now the city has fallen to the demon lord's army and become their front line. Mare said, that will be our destination, it'll probably take about 2 days on foot. Kai wondered, I really didn't want to ask, but what happened to the people who used to live there? Mare recalled, half died, the other half were captured as slaves by the demon lord's army, a few tried to escape to the other side of the mountains. He glanced at Mare, so. He pondered, as expected, she knows quite a bit, bringing her along on this journey was the right choice. Back in the past, Kai said, I refuse, I don't need a noisy girl. Mare retorted angrily, what, you could at least trust me. Elbana smiled gently, don't say that, young man, you've only just arrived in this world, Mare will be quite helpful, this girl has extensive knowledge, passed down by me. Kai wondered skeptically, if that's true, what does she gain from this? Elbana gently stroked Mare's head. Elbana said, this girl doesn't know how the world works, even though she is grown and has a vast knowledge, she still lacks real-world experience. Elbana pondered, I've been looking for an opportunity to send her on an adventure, but I'm still very worried about letting my cute disciple go out alone. Kai looked at Elbana, so, you trusted me to take her, you could have done it yourself. Elbana sighed, but I no longer have the ability to go on adventures, from a human perspective, I might look young and healthy, but my limits are approaching. Elbana said, and then suddenly a young boy appeared and saved my disciple. Mare said gratefully, thank you very much. But Kai stated frankly, I plan to invade the demon's territory, this is a dangerous journey, if you hinder me, I'll leave you behind. Elbana looked at Mare gently, you heard that, Mare, you will make the decision, after all, it's your life. Mare looked at Elbana with glistening eyes, my life. Mare was determined, I understand, master, I will go with him. Back on the journey, Mare leaned on her staff and lamented, I'm so tired. Kai turned and scolded, you've only been walking for 1 day, you know. Mare was dejected, please don't expect too much from a mage's body, I've used this body to train hard all this time. Kai dropped the pack, let's stop here for today, we'll rest. Mare looked confused, didn't you say you'd leave me behind if I hindered you? Kai said, what nonsense are you talking about, this is a small matter, I won't leave you, hurry up and set up the tent. Mare replied quickly, I know. The two of them lit a fire next to the tent under the night sky. Mare sat munching on the delicious bread. Kai looked at Mare thoughtfully. He calmly said to Mare, Mare, you probably know, but this journey will soon become dangerous. He pondered, I won't stop, no matter how dangerous it gets, I really want to go back to my world, but you don't have many reasons to join me to that extent. He looked at Mare frankly, I don't think Elbana was lying either, do you have another reason, right? Mare suddenly froze. Mare looked at him, flustered, I don't know how to explain it, I guess you've seen through me already. Mare recalled, the village I used to live in, the village of the elves, was destroyed by the demon lord's army. Kai was skeptical, this battle was supposed to be between humans and demons, right? Mare refuted, that's just a rumor. Mare recounted, demons will invade any race, my parents, even my younger brother, were all killed. The reason I survived was because my father pretended to be bait and drew their attention, at that moment, I couldn't do anything. Mare reminisced, after the demon lord's army left the village, I was left alone to die, and then Master saved me, so I became Master's disciple, something like that. Kai was straightforward, I'm not interested in your past, I want to know your goal. You probably know after hearing my story, Mare clenched her fist, the reason I became a disciple and a mage was because I wanted the power to kill the demons. Mare was filled with resentment, everything I learned from my master, including the training I've practiced for the past 10 years, all was for revenge, that bastard killed my family, I will definitely kill him myself. Kai asked Mare, what's the name of that demon? Mare recalled, one of the 4 heavenly kings, Wimberg, he's known as the Heavenly King of Wind, and is also one of the top leaders of the demon army. Kai questioned Mare, so the reason you agreed was to get closer to him, right, but now I have no reason to fight against the demons. Mare spoke firmly, my master never allowed me to go on an adventure alone. But with you, the master agreed. Mare looked at Kai, bewildered. I don't know why the master would do that after meeting you. We're talking about the master here. I don't even know what the master is thinking. Mare looked at Kai with hope. That's why I'll do as you ask for now. He nodded. I understand your situation. He remembered Elbana speaking to him privately. Kid, I entrust this girl to you. I'm sure you can handle her. He thought to himself, if Sage let his disciple go on an adventure alone, perhaps because of revenge, this girl would die in vain. Mare was apologetic. I'm sorry for bringing up such a heavy topic. Mare smiled. You don't need to worry. I don't want to drag you into my revenge. Kai pondered. So, she wants to do it herself. He replied, I understand. Let's end the conversation here. We need to sleep to prepare for tomorrow. Mare turned around. Understood. I will have the spirits guard us for now. If any monsters come, we'll know. Kai remained silent in the darkness. He thought to himself, the 4 heavenly kings of the demon army, huh? He glanced at the small sound beside him. Mare was sound asleep. Kai went outside the tent, looking at the starry night sky. His previous enemy was a high-level demon, now it's another, stronger one. He was determined, if I want to win, I have to become stronger. Kai brushed it off. No, that's not what I need to worry about right now. Around the western border of the digressed Holy Kingdom, a line of fortresses. Flags fluttering in the wind. In a sturdy building. A scolding voice arose. How many times have I said it? The bald-headed man shouted, now that we have hero candidates, this is the perfect time to attack. The long-haired man was perplexed. I understand your point, but where do we start the attack? Amelia pointed at a symbol on the map. Amelia calmly analyzed, attacking Arla's fortress is a good start, it used to be our fortress, this is a chance to reclaim it, currently, it's the enemy's forward base, if we attack here, the enemy will surely retreat. Heinrich assessed, no matter how you look at it, this is still a reckless plan, we're currently defending, but suddenly we're going on the offensive. The bald-headed man mocked, what's wrong, is the captain of the 8th Night Legion afraid, you have hero candidates as subordinates already. Heinrich silently looked at the bald-headed man. Amelia spoke up, Heinrich is right, but currently the enemy still underestimates us, they definitely won't anticipate us suddenly attacking. Amelia asked Midu Shuji, have you recovered, Midu? Yes, sir, he replied, he spoke firmly, if you tell me to fight, I will use my sword. Everyone walked together in the hallway after the meeting ended. Heinrich sighed, the plan will be carried out tomorrow, it's rare to see Amelia so aggressive. Hashimoto Mirai wondered, do you think everything will be okay? Everyone was quite confident back then. Midu spoke up, anyway, it's a good time to attack while they're gathering their forces, I don't think this is a wrong move. Heinrich looked at him, they're relying on your strength and abilities, that's why they're overconfident, although we're just reinforcing the defenses outside their command, we can't disobey our superior's orders either. Mirai was perplexed, we have no other choice, right? Heinrich agreed, of course, we'll still support you guys to the best of our ability, but this time, you're still our key, tell your comrades to rest in the evening. Midu gradually felt uneasy, what's going on? Suddenly, I have a bad premonition, I have no other choice. The space was silent near Arla's fortress. Everyone gradually advanced silently. Rina was confused, it's already dawn, why are we doing this at this time, if it's a surprise attack, wouldn't night be better? Heinrich replied, the demons can still see us in the dark, attacking at night will be more disadvantageous. Midu stared ahead, I want to confirm once more, our goal is to defeat the commander while Lord Luke will attract their attention. He continued, most likely their commander is a high-ranking demon, when the battle begins, I will command everyone, in case I'm not nearby, at least stall for time for me or run away, do you all understand? Everyone is ready and waiting for orders. A soldier ran up to report, Commander, there's a message from Lord Luke, they told us to start the plan. Heinrich replied, understood, let's go. Suddenly a loud noise occurred, making everyone alert. The roar echoed through the sky, everyone bravely attacked the castle. The monster angrily shouted, humans, how dare you? Amelia, while slashing at demons, gave the order to destroy all the demon soldiers. The sounds of fighting echoed through the castle. The monsters deep inside the castle were still silent, not yet appearing. Midu led everyone running inside the castle. 2 fierce demons guarding, who are you? With just a few sword swings. Midu had destroyed those 2 demons. Everyone behind them was impressed, it's really Midu, we trust you. Heinrich warned, everyone don't let your guard down, there's still a chance the commander is in the main hall. A horde of demons swarmed towards them, you wretched intruders, kill them. The whole group was startled, looking at the remaining demons, here they are. Haki hastily said, "Are we surrounded?" Satoshi was bewildered. "What should we do, Midu?" Heinrich raised his sword. "Leave the rear to us, Legion of the Eighth Knights, hero candidate, advance towards the goal by force." Midu replied clearly, "I'll leave the flank to you, Rina." Rina charged forward. "No need to give me orders." Rina shouted, "Burn!" The demons were scattered, their screams were pathetic. Decisive slashes rang out. Everyone rushed in. Someone shouted to open that door. Everyone stood frozen, looking at the scene in front of them. Midu was shocked, his eyes widening. The demon in front was huge and magnificent, a single demon facing everyone. Someone wondered, what the hell is he? Erishur was angry, "Are you the commander?" The demon replied, "I am Stonageria, one of the 4 great heavenly kings of the demon lord's army." Rin was bewildered. "The 4 great heavenly kings," Mireille replied, "it's just a title." Midu stared at Stonageria. "No, the pressure radiating from him is not normal." Stonageria leaned his sword on the ground. "Hero candidate, huh?" Stonageria looked at them. "Let's see how strong you all are." Midu shouted, "Get ready everyone." He gritted his teeth, "Don't be afraid, if we are defeated here, Lord Luke's sacrifice will become meaningless." Everyone was ready to fight Stonageria. Both sides were ready to face each other. Stonageria slammed his hand on the ground. Suddenly a surge of great power radiated around him. Everyone was horrified, looking at the scene in front of them. A loud explosion rang out, a strange object simultaneously appeared. A strange block of earth slowly rose, they also had terrifying faces. Heike startled, "What?" Sachi gaped, "Mud monster." The mud monster successively stood up and walked towards them. Stonageria gritted his teeth, he ordered the mud monsters to kill them. Midu ordered to hold them back. Narumi immediately responded. Right, he secretly cast a move, Wind Blade. The move successively attacked the monsters. They were chopped into many pieces, their heads were also cut in half. Erishur raised his fist, "Take this." He attacked decisively, the monster exploded and shattered. He provoked the mud monsters, "No matter how many they are, these slow mud monsters are nothing." Stonageria silent. Suddenly, the fragments of stone broke out from the mud monsters as if they were alive. They reformed into the original monster. Midu surprised, "What?" The mud monsters seemed to have completely recovered. Erishur wondered, "Are they regenerating?" Their punches, though large, had many cracks. Erishur quickly dodged that giant punch. Everyone shouted in unison and rushed forward. The mud monsters were constantly attacked, everyone rushed forward enthusiastically. Heike powerfully slashed off their arms. Suddenly another punch came towards Heike. Heike scared no. Rin both execute the move and shouted, "Stand still." The mud monsters were immediately controlled. Satoshi determined, "Right now." Satoshi immediately stabbed a stick into the mud monster. Satoshi excited, "How about that?" The monster clenched its giant fist. It angrily emitted great power, causing everyone to fly away. Mireille raised her hand to execute power, "This thing." The monster began to be continuously attacked by stones. The monster immediately fell down. Mireille stared at the monster. The pile of mud that had just been beaten still looked at them disgustingly. Erishur annoyed, "There's never an end." Suddenly a voice echoed, attracting everyone's attention. "Before when reading comics I had seen this situation." Narumi winked, "At times like this, defeating the summoner is the best choice. Narumi decisively leave the mud monsters to us." Midu and everyone rushed away, "Understood, so we will go deal with the summoner." He casually slashed at the monsters. Stonageria spoke, "Are you despising me?" Stonageria slammed his hand on the ground. The strange stones continued to fly up. They flew into the battlefield that had been set up by Stonageria. The stones flew straight towards Midu. He stared at the scene. He quickly rushed to avoid. Midu surprised, "Huh." A desperate scream rang out. Narumi screamed, Shuji Mireille turned around, "Midu-kun." Midu thrust his sword into the ground. He denied it, "No, I'm fine." Erishur rushed in to attack Stonageria from behind. Erishur smirked, "Good job, Midu." A loud explosion rang out. Atsushi wondered if he had killed him yet. Erishur was standing right next to Stonageria's wing. Erishur was attacked in the stomach. Erishur fell down in pain. Stonageria sneered, "Is this all you've got, you hero candidates?" At the time Midu and his group were fighting one of the 4 heavenly kings Stonageria, Shinju also arrived at the fallen city of Nutrat. In a gloomy space, drops of water fell from the ceiling. A small flame was lit on the magic staff. Kai and Mare were moving inside the sewer under the city. A foul smell rose around. Mare covered her nose and complained, "Infiltrating through the underground sewer system, what a horrible idea, it stinks here." Kai was extremely calm, just calm down, we'll soon reach the underground soil of the city. He added, their eyesight at night is very good, besides, the city has many open areas. In addition, this city is located on the front lines, security is very tight, it is impossible to enter through the front gate. The two stood in front of an iron elevator. Kai looked up and grabbed it and said, let's go up from here. A moment later, in an alley inside the city, the two had climbed up from the sewers, while Kai carefully hid behind the wall to observe. Mare brazenly stood there lifting her skirt and sighed, finally, I'm out. A keen sense helped him realize that something was appearing. Quickly pulled Mare behind the barrel to hide. Someone's coming, let's hide here for now. Outside, two demon soldiers were approaching. The purple demon stretched and sighed, I'm really tired. The blue demon turned unhappily, what are you complaining about being chosen as the witch's bodyguard? It's an honor. The purple demon replied, the position serving the witch is not based on personal achievement, right? I have no motivation at all. They continued to talk. The blue demon sarcastically said, you have those skills, but your personality, the purple one interrupted, but he shouldn't yell at me like that. Then the two demon soldiers walked past the barrel where the two were hiding. A moment later, Mare sighed and turned to ask, are they gone? Hearing the conversation just now, Kai thought, the witch, is she the princess of the devil and the one who rules this city? Mare nodded, yes, she is called the Space Witch, I think so, she is currently your target. Kai remembered the words of Sage Albana, a witch with the ability to control space living on the front lines of the city. That woman could help him fulfill his wish. Kai immediately asked, the problem is how to approach her. If we just go there without a plan, everything will turn into a war. The two went out. Mare followed and asked what should we do. Kai replied, first, carefully gather information, just do as I say, don't act on your own. She quickly nodded obediently, I understand. In the center of the city, a large number of demon soldiers were gathered. They are also like humans, gathering in small groups to gossip. Others were sitting there drinking beer. The two were in a room looking out and observing the demon soldiers through the window. Mare spoke, looking over, it seems that they also have a normal life, which makes me quite disappointed. Kai replied, as long as they have the ability to talk and possess intelligence, it is natural, like humans. He pointed down. Mare was momentarily stunned. Below, there were some people who were captured by the demons as slaves, serving to transport goods. They were brutally beaten and shouted loudly, don't be lazy anymore, get to work. Witnessing that, Mare screamed in surprise, slaves. Kai wondered, why are you surprised? You already knew that humans were captured by demons as slaves. Mare inside the door replied, you're right, I know, but it's crazy. After brutally beating the human, the demons stood there and laughed loudly, ignoring the victim's pain. Mare's face changed slightly, it seemed like she was extremely angry. Kai looked over and realized that, this was probably the first time he had seen that side of her. He was a little surprised. Suddenly, he felt a change in the space around him. A voice rang out, you are not demons, are you? Behind the two of them appeared a girl with sharp horns and a mysterious aura. Kai glanced back and wondered when she had gotten there. He quickly took out his dagger as a precaution, he hadn't detected her earlier. The strange girl continued to reassure, you don't need to be on guard, I'm not here to fight. Kai, hearing this, became even more worried and asked, what do you want? How do you know our location? Looking at her very calm demeanor, Kai was extremely shocked. It was insane, there was no way he hadn't detected someone behind him, she must be using magic. At this moment, the strange girl spoke, I have been searching for you since you infiltrated through my detection barrier. Mare was puzzled, what barrier? I didn't detect any mana. Her eyes were a bit strange with red. She replied, there's no place I can't see with my spatial magic. Kai was startled, remembering what he had overheard that morning, spatial magic, don't tell me it's her. Then he immediately used his appraisal ability. The system displayed the information, name Isabel Veldora, age 15, gender female, attack S, defense A, agility A, strength A, magic SS, status normal, skills divine guardian, evil god level S, spatial magic level S, all magic attributes level S. Now, she stepped forward and officially introduced herself, my name is Isabel, the fifth princess of the demon kingdom Veldora. Before the question, she issued a threat, if you don't answer, I will call the soldiers to a human and an elf. What are you doing here? You don't look like spies. Kai cautiously thought, if a war breaks out at the enemy's base, I can't guarantee my safety, I must negotiate peacefully. Then he spoke, I don't mind explaining, but it will be a long story. Isabel jumped onto a nearby crate, sat down, and said, it's okay, I'm bored too. After standing there and recounting some of the events that had happened, she asked him, so, you want to go back to your world? Kai looked at Isabel seriously. I heard that's possible with spatial magic, is that really true? She replied, that person is right, you can go back to your world. Kai excitedly asked, really? He looked at the girl in front of him with a little relief in his heart. Fortunately, I can finally talk to the spatial witch. She didn't seem like a normal demon. He didn't feel any hatred for humans from her. Isabel added, but I need to know the coordinates of your old world. I don't even know where your world is or what kind it is. This statement of hers seemed to pull down his recent joy. Isabel was serious, although it's really possible, but if I don't know the coordinates, there's no way I can bring you back to your old world. After hearing those words from Isabel, the room suddenly became silent. The two of them looked at each other. One wanted to go home, and the other had the ability to send that person home. But the most important thing right now was missing, which was the coordinates. Kai asked Isabel, is there any way to find the coordinates? She replied, there are many parallel worlds, it's really difficult to find your exact world. He had been observing with his ability, even with the eyes of truth, and it seemed like she wasn't lying. His skills had improved and had some quite useful effects. Isabel added, however, there are also limitations with your body. You came to this world with the divine guardian ability, basically, that's impossible. With my demon magic, I can't penetrate your divine guardian ability. Under her eyes, Kai was covered by a layer of white, smoky aura. Kai replied frankly, perhaps it's God's will that we can't go home, unless we kill the demon lord. Isabel was calm, perhaps, I don't know further than that. Kai sighed, thinking, as expected, there are no shortcuts. Okay, at least now I know I have no other choice. His eyes revealed the determination that he must kill the demon lord. Isabel shrugged, it seems you've made up your mind. Kai replied, the best thing right now is that I can go home, even if it's thanks to the demon's magic, but that doesn't seem easy. Mare looked at Isabel questioningly, I've been thinking about this from the start. Why are you cooperating with us? You are the princess of the demon kingdom. She created a spatial portal in front of her, stepped down and replied, even the demon kingdom is divided into factions. There's something I've always desired. Kai and Mare, seeing this, immediately drew their weapons to prepare for defense. Isabel stepped into the spatial door and reminded the two of them, be careful. Escaping this city won't be easy, and as soon as she finished speaking, she also gradually disappeared in front of them. In an instant, Isabel completely disappeared and the spatial door also slowly dissipated. Mare clutched her chest and gasped, I was so scared, I thought I was done for. Kai also put away his dagger and said, she is the descendant of the demon lord, she is very strong, we can't defeat her right now. Mare looked over, relieved, thank God, she didn't have a hostile attitude. Kai agreed, often in situations like this, misfortune will follow luck. Hearing you say that, Mare became even more panicked, don't say that. Outside, the noise of the demon soldiers, Mare looked down, Kai inside wondered, what's going on? A demon soldier shouted the announcement, quickly find them, the spies have infiltrated this city. Mare heard this confusedly asking, have we been exposed? Kai realized this just as the witch disappeared. Mare panicked and turned to ask, you mean she informed them? Why would she do that after leaving? I really don't understand. You turn to the door, we won't understand what she's thinking, quickly leave this place. A moment later, outside the buildings, Kai and Mare were moving at high speed on the roof. Below, the demon soldiers were still desperately searching. One of them shouted, haven't found them yet, they must be here. Kai thought to himself, they are deploying the military, it seems they are very sure there are intruders inside, they are completely wary, we can't stay here anymore, their individual stats are quite high. While running together, Kai stopped to observe, causing Mare to bump into his back due to inertia. She complained, don't stop so suddenly. Kai immediately grabbed her head and pushed it down, making her startled and ask, what's wrong? Kai demanded to bow down, don't move. He observed and felt this energy was similar to that which, or maybe stronger. Below on the street was a high-ranking demon standing among the demon soldiers. The one with a large horn in the middle of his forehead, and emitting this green aura, is one of the 4 great heavenly kings. Mare was shocked to realize that it was the one who had harmed her village and family, Wimberg. Hearing that, Kai turned to ask her what she just said. Mare's expression was a bit excited, finally meeting in this place, just as predicted, following you was the right decision. He turned to ask Mare, is he your revenge target? Mare replied, that's right, there's no mistaking it, the Wind Heavenly King, one of the Devil Lord's vassals, Wimberg. Kai looked down and used his assessment ability. The information showed the name Wimberg, age 40, demon race, wind attribute skills, level 5 demon magic, level 5 hawk eyes, level 5 swordsmanship. He realized he was very strong. Then he put his hand on Mare's shoulder to reassure her, calm down, fighting him here is a crazy decision. Mare relaxed, although she hated him very much, but striking at this moment was seeking death. In fact, she also understood this. Kai turned and slid down, reminding, the Wind Heavenly King, I heard that wind attribute magic is very good for reconnaissance and tracking, we must move carefully. Mare was still sitting there, stunned. Wimberg's aura mixed into the wind. He walked through the street with the demon soldiers on both sides escorting him. Wimberg immediately asked, okay, is there really an intruder here? The soldier next to him replied, certainly, sir. He grunted and said, it's just a hunch, so I can't say much. Wimberg looked serious, but if there really is an intruder, we will definitely crush them. He took the opportunity to remind his subordinates, the trump card of the humans is the hero candidates that have been discovered at the front lines. At times like this, we must stabilize the situation, simple but very important strategy. The purple demon next to him interrupted, I'm sorry to interrupt, but are you okay retreating to the rear like this? I think Wimberg-sama will achieve more victories at the front. He calmly replied, this position suits me better, let the manual labor be for other units. The auras he sent out to track, mixing into the wind, had a response. Wimberg smiled, they are really here. The purple demon quickly asked, have you discovered them, sir? He replied, the wind is telling me so. The gusts of wind swirled around his hands, they are moving carefully, but they will not be able to escape my detection. The purple soldier admired, by controlling the wind currents, you can detect anything, one of the most difficult skills of the wind attribute, no matter how many times I've witnessed it, I'm still very impressed. Wimberg immediately waved it off, enough flattery, prepare the pursuit units. The demon soldiers immediately obeyed. Wimberg stood there with a cold laugh, I didn't expect that witch to let humans pass in front of her so brazenly, how interesting, a good show to watch here. In a small alley, Kai and Mare were running very fast, trying to avoid the demon soldier groups as well as Wimberg's scrutiny. His eyes were sharp and determined, they couldn't be caught in this situation. Suddenly, Kai raised his hand and told Mare to stop. Outside the alley on the main road, the demon soldiers were desperately searching. One of them shouted, find them, they must be nearby. Kai hid to the side, peeked out to observe and said, they have discovered our move, although they still can't pinpoint the exact location. Mare looked up at the sky and noticed something strange and reported it to Kai, by the way the wind has been moving very unusually, the spirits are also restless. He looked in the direction of Mare's eyes, it seems this is a search skill of the wind element, this is very dangerous. She said to Kai, I can disrupt this unusual air current with magic, but it will reveal our position. Realizing the situation was still stable, Kai continued moving and said to her, you shouldn't do that, we haven't been completely discovered yet, let's keep going, if we're discovered in this position, we'll be defeated by their overwhelming numbers. Time passed quickly, the demon soldiers, under Wimberg's orders, continued to search without stopping. As for the two of them, they chose small alleys and moved continuously to avoid being discovered. But suddenly, the voice of a demon soldier rang out, I found you. Kai turned around and saw a large number of them behind. While Mare was still trying to run and breathe heavily from exhaustion, Kai looked at the girl and clicked his tongue. The two of them turned and continued to run. Mare said, sorry, it's my fault. Kai waved his hand, it's okay, we can use the location markers to our advantage. He added, furthermore, you should act as a decoy to lure them for me. Upon hearing the word decoy, Mare was startled, her eyes wide as she looked at him in amazement. Without giving her time to react, Kai immediately stomped his foot on the ground to gain momentum. Then he jumped onto the walls in a zigzag pattern to get onto the roof. Mare stood there, whining, wait, I can't climb like that. Kai looked down and said, don't you want revenge? What good will crying in this situation do? Leaving the girl standing there, Kai continued his movement and said, you hide. Seeing herself abandoned like that, Mare looked on in shock, but didn't dare to neglect, and continued to run with her legs. The demon soldiers behind pursued with weapons in their hands, shouting loudly, they're splitting up. At the crossroads, the demon soldiers split into two groups, one group following the direction Kai was moving, the other group ran straight to pursue Mare. Suddenly, she stopped abruptly and turned around, then raised her staff and exclaimed, oh my god, so I just need to do this, huh. Then Mare stood facing the demon soldiers with her staff in her hand, wielding fire magic with the fire salamander spell. The demons quickly stopped with extremely surprised eyes, what is this? Boom, the small alley was engulfed in a sea of fire. The large explosion attracted the attention of other groups of demons. They immediately followed the order of the commander and rushed towards that direction, over there, hurry. A faint shadow landed right behind their ranks. A clean, fatal cut across the neck of a demon soldier, blood gushed out before he could react. The corpse fell to the ground with a thud, and the shadow swiftly moved away again. Kai's next targets were the two demon soldiers in front. In the blink of an eye, other than the sound of swish, swish, no other sound was made. The leading demon leader was startled and realized something strange. He turned around and asked, what was that sound? But surprisingly, in front of him were the corpses of his underlings, lying scattered everywhere. He stammered in shock, what the hell is this? In a split second, the dagger was pressed against his neck in astonishment. The demon soldier was too scared to speak, only Kai's voice scolded him, you coward. As soon as the words were finished, it was also the moment blood gushed out from his neck. On another alley, there were continuous gasps. Mare was struggling to escape, and at the same time, she used magic to attack the demon soldiers to hold them back. She used water magic, creating a great flood pouring into the alley, making it difficult for the demon soldiers to move. However, they still tried to move forward against the current. Mare's face revealed a hint of worry, but she reassured herself by thinking that at least she could hold them back, but as it was, there were too many of them. Suddenly, she looked towards them and noticed something unusual. A column of water occasionally appeared at the very back of the soldiers. And every time it appeared, a demon soldier disappeared. Mare thought to herself, it seems their numbers are decreasing. Along with that, the water began to turn blood red. The ones in the front finally realized and turned around to ask, what the hell are you? Before the demon could gather himself, the dagger was plunged straight into the middle of his forehead and blood gushed out. Kai's previous knife throw was called by the beautiful name, Shikigami, the god of death. Kai's eyes were sharp and cold, demon blood splattered all over his face, truly the familiar style of an assassin. He gently pulled the dagger from the demon's head and said to Mare, you make a good decoy, thanks to you, my job has become easier. The two of them continued walking in the small alley. Mare followed behind Kai complaining, I almost got killed. On this side, Wimberg's hurried footsteps and his inquiring voice still hadn't caught them. The demon soldier hurried over, I'm sorry, I'll send more troops immediately. He raised his hand to stop him. Then he quickly said, no need, the more people, the more they die. Wimberg smiled, appearing extremely confident, I will destroy them myself. As for the two of them, Kai and Mare realized something was in front of them. A strong wind swept down towards them. It blew away their hair and stopped their progress. Mare thought to herself, I can feel a very strong source of energy from this wind. It seems they are in sight. Wind energy accumulates into magical streams downwards. Sensing a little danger, Mare shouted, oh wind spirits. She created a magical vortex that threw away those sharp wind energies, which gradually dissipated, and the surrounding air also became quiet again. Kai looked up and thought, finally they are here. Above was Wimberg standing there controlling the flow of the wind. He crossed his arms and smiled lightly, it seems you guys aren't just cowards, these intruders. Seeing him, Mare's angry face and hateful eyes appeared. She shouted his name, Wimberg. Kai both reminded and encouraged her, finally the chance for her to get revenge is here, are you ready? She clenched her staff in her hand, her voice full of determination as she looked at him, for 10 years, I've always been ready. Kai whispered to remind Mare, if it's a long battle, he's not an easy opponent, so from the very beginning we have to try our best and take him down quickly. Mare nodded and shouted clearly, then looked towards Wimberg with determination. She struck her staff on the ground, began to chant, "O wind spirits." She created sharp streams of wind energy that shot forward. They were like streams of blades slashing straight at where Wimberg was floating. He appeared very calm, his face didn't change at all. Then Wimberg created a huge magic circle and shouted, "Using the wind element to attack me, one of the 4 great heavenly kings of the wind, I don't know if you're brave or stupid." Then, from the magic circle, his wind energy was amplified and surrounded him. Mare's attacks met a whirlwind shield and were immediately nullified. Along with the flow of wind in the vortex, the wind blades were blown upwards and flew away. Kai constantly used his speed to move very quickly on the ground and look up, he's obstructing his own vision. Suddenly some wind spears shot down from above. Fortunately, with his agility and dexterity, he gently jumped to the side to avoid them. Then Kai looked up in a panic and was amazed. Wimberg spoke, "You think you can close the distance when I can't see around me?" He twirled his fingers to control the wind and smiled, "You understand, right? My wind element magic will not let you hide." Kai was a little worried, thinking to himself, "This is bad, even if I fall into his blind spot, I will still be detected by his magic. This is the strongest counterattack against my assassination skills." Mare stood there and raised her staff confidently and said, "Don't worry, leave it to me." With that, the head of the staff glowed brightly with a dazzling green color, and then winds were created. The extremely strong wind blew away the vortex around Wimberg. He was extremely surprised, exclaimed, "What? Mare said to Kai, his wind magic uses the ability to precisely control the flow of the wind. If I can use magic to break it, I can stop him. Wimberg seemed worried at this moment, thinking that little girl, she has broken my magic with a spell, so she knows my fighting style. Kai was always focused on the opponent, as expected. Throughout her life, she only thought about revenge. Then he jumped on the walls to use them as leverage and flew to the roof to approach Wimberg from above. He glanced down and observed that and smiled contemptuously, thinking that just getting close would defeat me. Kai had rushed forward and launched a sharp slash. But with the wind energy under his feet, Wimberg gently flew up to avoid it. This surprised Kai a little. He floated above, laughing coldly. How sad, I can fly up in the air. Kai clicked his tongue, a similar ability to Narumi. Suddenly a voice from air below came and jumped up. A gentle gust of wind acted on Kai's feet, helping him to fly up. The magic wind below supported him to get closer to him. Wimberg screamed in panic. How could it be? Kai used his assessing eye along with the sharp daggers, looking at him, thinking he would finish him off while he was still bewildered, skills of distant vision and weak point detection. Thanks to that skill, Kai almost knew in advance the direction of evasion as well as Wimberg's death point. Everything was clear in his eyes. However, his weak point was fading. Kai realized this and was a bit surprised by it. Wimberg's hand was holding the handle of the weapon and taking it out. A long and sharp Chong-Pong sword appeared in his hand. Wimberg looked down seriously and said, "Intruder, you dare to make me swing my sword." Then he immediately stabbed straight down in front of Kai. The fast and powerful attack caused him to be continuously pushed back, using 2 daggers to try to block. However, there were still sword strokes that slipped through and cut across his face. Blood was flowing. Kai was worried. Even if he used distant vision, it was too fast. Taking this opportunity, Wimberg rushed to continue adding without giving him a chance to defend himself. He smiled. "Let me tell you, the one who taught Hector how to use a sword was me." Suddenly, the smile disappeared. He glanced to the side. A large rock appeared, hitting towards him, causing him to quickly jump up to avoid it. This also helped Kai resolve the danger. He jumped down, standing in front of Mare. The large rock was stuck into the building next to it, while Wimberg was still floating above. The two were still extremely focused on the magic staff and the killer daggers. He looked down with a little concern. Even with the wind demon magic to deflect such a large rock, it's not easy. Wimberg saw that Mare, that goblin, could use earth elemental magic, not to underestimate it. He focused on the girl on the ground, thinking from the start, those goblin villages should have been destroyed, shouldn't they? Suddenly, he thought again and realized, then shouted and asked, "So that's it, it turns out you are the one who killed Hector, aren't you?" Before Kai could answer, Mare spoke, "Yes, at least you should know what it feels like to lose someone." Wimberg closed his eyes and laughed coldly, "So you're the one who survived in that village." The fire of hatred erupted in Mare's body. "Since that day I have been practicing magic for 10 long years just to be able to kill you myself." Wimberg laughed loudly when he heard that. "How nostalgic, thanks to you I remembered everything, that day was really interesting." Seeing his expression made Mare stunned. His horns showed veins and his voice was full of sarcasm. "Hearing the goblins' cries made me feel so comfortable, because they thought of others but didn't care about themselves. Only one guy came up and begged me for mercy. He stuck out his tongue and emitted a demonic aura. A strong emotion made me so moved that I almost cried. The scene was so beautiful when I saw its desperate expression." Mare was provoked by those words. She screamed and aimed her magic staff at him. Kai stood in front and reminded her in time, "Don't get provoked, Mare." Then he turned around and sincerely said, "I'm relying on your magic." Hearing that, Mare regained her composure, suppressed her anger and replied, "I understand." Kai focused again. "I must stay calm and assess the situation. I am the one who will do everything to win." His attacks have a very wide range, including both close and long-range attacks, making it very easy for me to be hit. Wimberg above also guarded and reminded himself, "Don't get provoked, those two are so annoying. That kid can still stand up even after I launched an attack, even though he's just a human." He blurted out, "Are you a hero candidate?" Kai replied with sharp eyes, "It seems you understand us very well." He raised his sword and replied, "I always remember the strongest enemies of the enemy country, but you're not even on the list. The only explanation is that you're an outsider." He looked down at the two, thought to himself, "But the ones at a disadvantage are them. No need to rush, my stats are much higher than theirs." On this side, Kai is also calculating, the effect of distant vision will decrease after 3 minutes. If he doesn't quickly handle it, there will be no chance of winning anymore. Mare's voice rang out, "Lend me your ear for a moment, I have an idea."